All right, so Christmas was delayed. Now, because of the fact that Yvonne's kids were gone until last night, anybody who watched my Carrie Fisher video on my other channel could have heard them screaming in the background, would know they were back. But we had Christmas today. So I kind of have to show off. Yvonne got me a Canucks sweatshirt, so a nice hoodie that I will be sure to wear and be happy with. And I can scratch this jersey off the list, boys and girls. She got me this. It's white, so I can't wear it anywhere, but it's Winnipeg. So there you go, Jets fans. You guys can rejoice a little bit. Thank you, Vaughn. I now have a Jets jersey that I can wear. I'm watching the tail end of this Florida-Toronto game. Toronto 2-0 lead in Florida. They blow it. Neither team can score in overtime. Make up your own mind on this one. The good news is Luongo looks competitive. Freddie Anderson looks fantastic. Remember early in the season, I had a lot of people saying that Anderson looked like he sucked, and I was wrong. And I kept on saying he's good. He'll get better. He'll get better. You're welcome. Montreal takes care of business in Tampa. I'm completely baffled when it comes to Tampa. Now, there's 4 minutes left. Tampa's down 3-2. I can't see them coming back in that one. But Tampa bewilders me. They genuinely do, because they should be a lot better than this. They should be. And just waiting and saying, well, they'll turn it on, is dangerous. So that is something that I find disturbing that's going on right now. Let's take a look at the other crap I got, too. And I say that lovingly because I'm honestly kind of surprised. Christmas over the last couple years was nothing. And when I was married, it was mainly nothing. Because it was, you're an adult, you don't need Christmas presents. That's basically the way my ex-wife felt about it. And I didn't really argue with her. You know, Christmas to me is a kid's holiday. But, thank you, Keisha. Fourth Doctor. Now, of course, people would say, well, don't you already have that? This says Barnes & Noble booksellers exclusive. So, I honestly, very happy. And there's no such thing as having too many Funkos. There's no such thing. It's Doctor Who, so it's all wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. So you can have multiples of a certain Doctor. Oh, goody! Now it's a shootout. Now the whole game doesn't matter. Cherries. I got cherries. How's it related to hockey? Duh, Don Cherry. And then just to prove that age limits are important, Playmobil, Canucks goalie and Boston scorer, so I can play the 2011 Stanley Cup anytime I want. It can be Luongo, and this can be Marchand. It can be Bergeron. He looks happy, so I'm gonna go with Bergeron. But the Canucks goalie looks happy too, so I may have to just have it be like John Garrett. I can't think of a Canucks goalie that's been happy against Boston. Other action tonight, Pittsburgh wins a game that had to be a heartbreaker for Carolina. Seriously, they cannot afford to keep coming up short in games they should be winning. And this wasn't Cam Ward's fault. I'm not going to put it on Cam Ward. It's just, it's a game that when your team is struggling, you lose. And in Carolina's case, they lose it. Other action tonight, St. Louis and Philly are currently tied. Oh, look at that. I jinxed it. Victor Hedman has tied it. So let's go back to that game. Oh, I might as well watch the shootout for this. So nobody scored for the first two shooters. Nobody scored on the third shooter. I guess Freddie Anderson doesn't care about advanced stats because Florida hasn't scored in 3 shots yet. I mean, if you can't beat Toronto at home, there's a problem. Oh man, they put Marner out. And Marner scores. Look at that. Oh, that is tough for Bobby Lou. And you know the nice thing about that is Marner does what I want so many shooters to do. Hit the net. So many guys on shootouts try so hard to be really, really fancy. I have to say, too, Luongo's mask, if you haven't seen it, it is on point. It is fantastic. But, yeah. So, Florida loses to Toronto. Florida fails to take advantage of a Tampa loss, Boston losing, Ottawa losing, and Toronto, I think, is ahead of Florida right now in the standings. You take a look. I know they won't be updated yet. I'm pretty sure Florida's going to be behind Toronto now. And we get to that point, and it's like I've said up to Canuck fans too. It's not just a matter of making it there. It is how many teams you have to pass. So yeah, Toronto just passed them, and Toronto has games in hand. So Toronto has 37 points. Florida has 37 points, but regulation or overtime wins. Toronto has 14, and Florida has 12. Florida has 12 regulation or overtime wins in 35 games. And their record has got worse since they fired their coach. They've been at 500, the fake 500, since firing a coach that had them one game above fake 500. So that's it for Florida for tonight. Oh, they haven't updated the graphic yet. The graphic they've got on Wednesday Night Hockey is the old Florida Panthers logo. That's sad. That should have been updated already. Somebody should have gone in and at least snapped a shot from a game that's happened since the start of the year or something. But yeah, it's, we're up to halfway mark of the season almost. I've been talking about doing my um, my letter grades again for teams, and it's funny because looking at the Atlantic Division as it is before the end of the Montreal Tampa game, anyways. In their last 10 games, Montreal's 5-3-2, Ottawa 5-4-1, Boston 3-5-2 because they suck, Tampa 4-4-2, Florida 3-3-4, now 3-3-5 in the last 11, Toronto 4-3-3, Buffalo 4-3-3, Detroit 4-5-1. Now let's take a look at the Metro Division, shall we? Their last 10 games: Columbus 10 wins, Pittsburgh 7-1-2, Rangers 7-3, Washington 7-2-1. Philly 7-2-1, Carolina 6-2-2, the Islanders 5-4-1, and New Jersey 1-8-1. And New Jersey's been victimized by teams in their own division quite a bit. So that's where we're at. The Metro and the Atlantic are mirroring 25 years ago the Patrick and the Adams division. And there's going to be a very good team that misses the playoffs this year. And based on tonight's results, it looks like Carolina is probably going to be heartbroken at the end of the season. There'll be a lot of games they look back on and say, "Oh, if we'd won that, and one thing they're going to be saying is if we'd had a better road trip to start the season." That 6-game road trip at the start of the season really put them behind the 8 ball, and in this NHL, you don't have the time to catch up because there's a lot of 3-point games, a lot. Now the Kings are playing the Canucks coming up. I will watch this. I'm not sure why, but I'll watch it. And I encourage others to watch it as well if you have the chance, because I really think the Canucks are gonna go on another extended losing streak pretty quick here. But yeah, tonight, let's see what impressed me tonight. Shea Weber finally got off the snide. So Weber's a very streaky scorer. If he starts scoring again, look out for Montreal. And they've managed to keep their head above water without Galchenyuk, and that's major. Toronto, I don't know where to start with Toronto. Just the kids. These kids are good. And when you look at the team's record right now and you think these kids are going to mature and get better, they're going to be a very good team. And it's going to aggravate a lot of people because if you think your TV's saturated with Maple Leafs highlights now, wait 3 years. It is going to be just crazy how much Maple Leaf stuff there's going to be. And Pittsburgh just finds a way to win. and it's everybody. You know, tonight was Hagelin with the winner. And Marc-Andre Fleury becomes the winningest Pittsburgh Penguins goalie in weird fashion, in that he comes in the third in relief of Matt Murray, and Pittsburgh comes back and wins the game. So Fleury gets the win, and good on him. Hopefully with him passing that mark, he can build on it and get some momentum going. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But it's a fun time right now if you're a Metro team. But when playoff time rolls around, you're going to have somebody who is going to get knocked out in the first round, who's going to have a very, very, very good year. And you're going to be looking at least one team in the Atlantic that sucks that made the playoffs. Right now it's Boston, and Tampa, Florida, and Toronto are all in the mix for that. Yes, Toronto is in the mix. Because with tonight's win, that puts Toronto within 3 points of Boston, and they have 3 games in hand on them. So as much as people complain about me talking about the Leafs, and that's fine, they're in the playoff race. They're in the hunt, and they weren't supposed to be there yet. They are ahead of where everybody, including myself, had them projected to be. And I projected, before the season started, I projected them to be as high as 23rd or 24th in the league. And I had people saying, oh, they're not going to be that high. They're higher. Not a lot higher, but they're higher than that. And you know, this is the danger of the loser point. They have 14 wins that are regulation or overtime in 33 games. So they're 14 and 19. Coming out to tonight, they're 15 and 19. That win now is the one non-regulation or overtime win because it's their first win in the shootout. But they're dangerous. And when a young team like that makes the playoffs, as it looks like Edmonton's going to do in the West, you don't know what they're going to do. It's easy for me to project and say, okay, like for instance, as I did the other day where I said, okay, Edmonton will play in Anaheim in the first round. The veteran team wins. 9 times out of 10, the veteran team will win. That 1 time out of 10, those young kids somehow come together and something happens and they're good enough. And they score an upset on paper. May not be an upset points-wise, but an upset on paper where people are saying, oh yeah, no, this is a mismatch. Like myself would be saying it's a mismatch. And they prove that it may be a mismatch, but the other way around. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments about tonight's early action. The Canuck game just began. Props on my jersey. Again, you can thank Yvonne for getting this. I do believe she got it from Sport Check. She said she went to 3 different stores looking for just the right jersey. So, I'm now free and clear to buy myself jerseys again. I was sworn not to do so until the Christmas gift giving was done, and yeah, this has been fun. I've had a fun holiday. I'm also coming up on the New Year, so I'm gonna get to work on New Year's resolutions for the 30 teams. I'm gonna try to make it not like the Christmas wish list for the 30 teams. That's gonna be tricky, but yeah, I'll probably have fun with that. Yeah. Thanks for watching. I will be back with more content soon, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing through. Again, took another jump today of I think it was 7 or 8 subscribers altogether. It's fantastic. I'm honestly very happy, and welcome to any new subscribers, and I think we're in for a very good year in 2017 because as the channel gets bigger, I'm able to do more. And yeah, I'll expand on that in a future video, but I'll just leave it at that for now. Anyways, thank you very much. I appreciate all you guys and girls. There are girls out there that watch. I know they don't comment all the time, but they do watch, and I appreciate them as well. So thank you, and I'll talk to you all again soon.